What? Are we
We're
live?
live. Good morning and happy Magic Monday.
Happy Magic Monday. It's just another Magic Monday. They probably muted me for copyright infringement.
That's funny.
I don't know. Now we're live. I'm sure we were live
I
before.
think we were, yeah.
But we're so excited to be back. We haven't been on here since Friday. And Friday was a strange day. Did it freeze?
It
Oh.
said that we had been live for 3 minutes and 24 seconds. I'm like,
Oh,
this is weird.
we're having some funny conversations. So, yeah, we're super excited to be here this morning after we finished off our free training last week of Walking Between Worlds, in which we are enrolling now. So, if you haven't booked a call, you can. But we have some great shares this morning, too. About manifesting.
Yeah. And one of the spiritual laws that we didn't get into because there are so many of them, is talking about the level in which you are willing to risk is also the level in which you are willing to receive. And I'm going to give a few examples of this so that it feels digestible, comprehensible, and a good way to describe it. It's like there's so many stories that I could go. I just don't know where to start.
We'll start, you know where to start. You
Okay.
had a great one.
I know there was multiple, and I don't
I
know which
know.
one to start
We
at.
had to talk, and there's like so many of them.
Yeah, we'll use these as examples because the law is throughout. It doesn't matter what area we're talking about. If we're talking about money or relationships or whatever it is, this law is accurate in all of them. And so I'm going to give the first example around joy and bliss and happiness. That the level in which you are able to experience joy, bliss, and happiness in your life is the same level in which you are willing to experience despair and sadness and depression. This does not mean that your willingness to experience it means that you will have to
Right.
in order to be able to embrace the bliss and the joy and the happiness, right? It's the mere willingness to is what gives you access to the full spectrum,
There you go. There's the hands. The full
the
spectrum.
full spectrum of human experience. And so we can then apply that to money, right? The level in which you are willing to risk is the level in which you are willing to receive.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Huge. I'm thinking of it in how many times I've spoken to people to invest in themselves, and they say, yes, I can make this payment, but I don't want to create that level of discomfort in the coming months. I know I will be anxious, I will be worried. And so they avoid that level of discomfort. But when you block a level of discomfort, you also block the level of prosperity, the level of pleasure, the level of joy. So most people, I love the way Megan said it this morning, most people are living in a very small range of emotional experience. It's very flat, very dry, and very rut-ish. But
Yeah.
it's safe.
It's safe. So they're like, well,
Feels safe.
I'm too afraid to risk, so I'll just stay right here and not over here. My risk is here. But then the potential for fulfillment or reward is also only there. So now your range is here, and people are usually bored, unfulfilled, don't make a lot of progress. A great example, I have two examples of this,
Good.
was I was watching this guy who was talking about how successful entrepreneurs will make $10,000, and once they get that $10,000, they go and hire two employees, both for 5,000.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Successful. Yeah.
yeah. So then they hire two employees at 5,000 apiece. They go back to zero, and then they rebuild from there. And before you know it, they're making 15,000, and they continue to repeat and repeat and repeat that. That's one example. I'm not
So
necessarily.
it's the willingness to go to zero.
Yeah, it's the willingness to go to zero
Not that you
that
have to.
most people aren't up for. But that's not even the point that I'm trying to
Oh,
make. That's why
sorry,
I'm like
but
getting
that's
through that
so
story.
exciting. I like that part.
So he's talking about this risk of willing to go back to zero in order to flourish. Go back to zero and then you flourish more and like that over and over. Well, I'm reading the comments and this woman on there goes, "Okay, yeah, sure, I can do that when I don't have a kid to support and bills to pay."
Ooh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, oh." She truly believes that because she has bills and children, that she can't have that level of financial freedom, right? Because she isn't willing to risk it.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that everyone who continues to build their business has to go back to zero or has to risk it. It is the willingness to risk it that allows your energy to open up to receiving the income. Right?
So
Just
good.
because every single month I'm willing to risk going to zero doesn't mean I do.
Yeah.
It just means I wouldn't let that stop me from making the next best step for my family or for my business. And this is the same in love and relationships, right? How willing are you to be? Are you willing to be authentic
And vulnerable.
and vulnerable,
That
right?
discomfort.
Oh, that is so uncomfortable to think about having a conversation with someone that might lead them to not like you or,
Rejection.
yeah, to decide to leave you, right? And so then your spectrum of love and connection in your relationship is this big.
Yeah. Yeah. But to play it safe, to play it safe. So that's so good. I love that you say that. And the woman who said, well, sure, I could do that if I didn't have bills and a kid. And that's what we're taught, right? To be responsible. When other people are depending on you, then you must deny your dreams and desires. Well, I'm a good example of not doing that. You're a good example of not doing that as single moms for many years, 14 years for me, and doing what everyone deemed as irresponsible. And I was just sharing with a client this morning is that I could not do something just for the money, just for the security, the idea of security. I couldn't do it. It like shrunk my soul. It was a soul sucking experience. When people have said, how did you build your business and be a single mom? My answer is typically, I couldn't not do it. I couldn't not do it. And so risking that, and I'm so grateful that I couldn't not do it, right? So it is going into that uncomfortable place and then reaping the rewards, knowing that you can go into that discomfort and live.
Yeah, and
Be
emerge,
okay.
right?
Emerge,
Like
yeah.
emerge with more impact in your life, more joy, more bliss, because you were willing to play with the human emotion and feeling of discomfort.
Yes.
Right? So often we're just trying to avoid that, and it is not possible. Right?
Yes.
It just isn't possible. Is there comments?
I was looking for comments. I don't see any. You can look about.
Oh.
Oh, hi, Diana.
Hi, Diana.
It's so good to see you here.
Yeah, so I would love for some of you to share, where have you decided to expand into a wider spectrum of your life and enjoyed the results of that? And also, especially if there is a time where you contracted, where you said, okay, this is my spectrum because I'm not willing to endure the discomfort, which means I'm also denying myself the freedom and the joy. Where have you done that? Go ahead.
Can we use you as an example living here?
Yeah.
Because that's a great example. Because Megan used to tell me, and I remember driving into my garage and Megan saying, my greatest fear is having to move back in with you. And
Not because it was her,
no,
just,
having to move back in with your mom, right?
Yeah.
That's my greatest fear. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, that's a pretty good, that's a pretty good rock bottom, really. But I understand your humanness, your ego going, that's pure failure. And that's how you felt. That's pure failure. And that fear of that failure kept you trapped. Trapped in doing something you weren't enjoying, you weren't loving, that was completely out of alignment with your soul purpose. And you didn't, by fearing it, did not avoid it.
Right. And how many people are here like, well, I'm not going to do that because that's too scary.
Yeah.
But then you end up creating what you didn't want.
Exactly, exactly. And it was from there that Megan could emerge. And I bet you no longer have that fear.
No,
No
not at
longer
all.
have that fear because now you trust yourself. You trust yourself to emerge from anything, any failure that you may
Right.
deem a failure, which we don't actually believe in failure, especially now. But you trust yourself enough to know that no matter what happens, you can emerge more powerful than ever, which you have.
Yeah, yeah. That gives me chills.
Good.
My own story.
That's good. I'm glad.
I'm like, who is this Megan?
My daughter. Have to meet her.
Do you know what it's like having two of us when it's the whole world is us?
Ask our husbands. We might give them a microphone, maybe not. We don't want to know.
So this gets to be your story too. And if you'd like any coaching around this, if you've been considering walking between worlds but feel yourself kind of going into that contraction place, book a call with us. Tori's going to put the link in there. We are at about 5 people in Walking Between Worlds, and we have 10 or 12 calls on the books.
Yep.
So we are still welcoming more people in. If you have any sort of calling to this, let your heart do the pulling and not your mind do the thinking.
Don't eliminate yourself.
Yeah.
Don't eliminate yourself here when your heart is calling you to it.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome. Great Magic Monday.
Yeah, thanks. Great Magic Monday. We hope you liked it as much as we did.
We'll be back next Magic Monday.
We'll be next. Yes.
Will you still be here?
I will still be here. We'll be talking about the great leap that I'm taking and the fear I'm facing next week. And the exciting adventure.
Oh, leave it on a cliffhanger.
Exciting adventure. All right, everyone.
All right. See you next week.
Bye for now.